soon, guys. That was quick.
I want to ask you about this Eagles defensive front and the challenge they present and maybe where you see them in terms of ranking among the league.
Well, it's early, but I watched them last year, and I watched them a couple games this year. They're tough, they're talented, they're fast, they're strong, and they got two groups of them. It's not just the starting four. They got backups that can play, and they're all first-rate players, so it's going to be a challenge for us on the O-line.
There's two new coordinators this year because of the guys that got hired last year. Have they changed much in just their approach and their game planning and their attack?
It's early. They tweak some things. Obviously, you want to tweak some things every year. Both are very good coaches. I like Brian myself when I couldn't get the chance to at least talk to him. But the other one, DC, has been great for a while now. They're playing good football, playing good ball.
What's the challenge of stopping them running the ball? It seems that they've been very effective in the first couple of weeks.
That's tough. They got a heck of an offensive line. They got three backs that can go get it. They got two all-pro receivers and a tight end. Quarterbacks playing outstanding football, so we got to be disciplined. We got to play our assignments, and they can hurt you in a bunch of ways. They kind of take what you give them. If you try to load up for the run, they throw it. If you try to stop the pass, they run it. It's going to be a good challenge for us.
Does it help preparing for a quarterback that likes to run a lot for the second straight week that you've had back-to-back?
Not really. They're different type runners, so to speak. Jalen has great escapability. Other than his athleticism, he has great escapability in the pocket. Justin did too. They just saw things differently schematically, and Jalen does a heck of a job knowing when to run and when to throw.
Todd, you talked about escapability. Did that help you practice with Justin Fields, who has elite escapability?
I don't know if it helps you practice it. It helps you if you can bottle him up and not let him out. I think, this is another athletic guy that can throw the football. It's just a matter of us being disciplined and everybody doing their job.
Todd, you said before that you need a couple of weeks, a couple of games for this team to truly find out the strengths and weaknesses of it. But do you look at this game in prime time against a 2-0 team defending NFC champs as a bit of a litmus test for your group?
No, we look at every week like that. So the fact that they're 2-0 and went to the Super Bowl doesn't bother us. We're trying to go 3-0. It's going to be challenges every week for us. They're going to be bigger as the weeks go on. We're looking to get better as a team. No matter who we're playing, we're trying to execute and do our job. So Philly, this is not the end of the world if we lost or if we won. So we're trying to win it. They have very good players. Everyone we play will have very good players. They probably have more than most, so it'll be a good test for our guys.
Kind of popularized how they do their QB sneak in short yard situations with the running backs kind of pushing Hurts. How do you stop that, and how difficult is it to stop that?
If I knew the answer to that, I'd probably be writing a book. They're like 98% on it, and it's coming. They know they're giving it to you, and they get great push. They got an athletic quarterback. They got a big line, and I don't think anybody stopped it yet. So, we'll try like everybody else and see which side of the fence we fall on.
Do you think a play like that should be looked at again in the offseason, whether that should be allowed moving forward?
I don't make the rules. I'm not the commissioner or anybody else. And we got to stop it. The play is legal. We got to stop it as a defense. And they do a good job of executing it as an offense.
We saw Carlton kind of working on the side with trainers. Is Monday in play for him? Do you know if there are expectations he could go for you on Monday?
Well, we'll see how he does, if he can get into practice. He was limited today. He's moving around better, and we'll just monitor it during the week.
Izzy, and you as a dad kind of helped you as a coach in that you knew him a little earlier than most. There's so many Georgia defenders on this Eagles team. Do you feel like you know them a little better because your son's there?
No, I don't know him any better. My son just got there in June, so these guys have been there. So, I haven't really met those guys other than through the draft process. I'm not really that familiar with them personally.
You made some great plays, scrambling too, fighting for some extra yards. How wary are you of that going up against this Eagles front seven in their pass rush?
Yeah, you mentioned it. Their front seven, they're a special defense. They have been for the last few years for a reason. It's those guys. Obviously, it starts with the interior guys. Got great edge rushers. Had tremendous years last year. So we're wary of that. We're going to be ready for it. Yeah, but they get paid too. They're going to have good plays. We're going to have bad plays. And you just got to adjust and go off that. And so it's about handling the little bumps in the road throughout the game and making sure we get the last punch.
Baker, what stands out to you in the secondary for the Eagles specifically? I know it's a little early in the week, but what have you maybe seen on tape?
Yeah, I mean, new defensive coordinator this year, so just a little bit of coverage structure change from the last couple of years. But, I mean, their corners, extremely smart, obviously. Darius Slay is a tremendous player, extremely talented and experienced. So I think when it comes to secondary, you can tell that he's coaching those guys to pattern read and jump routes and do certain things to just elevate that game in the back end. So they're experienced. Yeah, they have some young guys that are playing a little bit right now, but you can tell the guys that have been around are definitely coaching them up.
How looking forward are you to playing Monday night, not in the heat, the light, the home crowd? I know.
That'll be
I was
nice.
saying that was the hottest
Yeah.
ever, man. But how excited are you?
It should be a tremendous atmosphere. Obviously, first primetime game for us as a team going up against a great opponent. A couple of teams that, we have a lot to prove within our division and our conference as well. So a great NFC matchup. And obviously, a special night, get to recognize Rondé as well in the stadium. And so atmosphere should be tremendous, especially with the history with him and the Eagles as well.
Do you view this as a measuring stick because of the quality team that it's appeared to be facing?
You try and do that every week, but especially against a good team like this. But good thing about the NFL season is that you got 17 games to prove, and you want to peak at the right time. But this is one that we're looking forward to, and we definitely need to show our best stuff.
Obviously, given the fact that you're a year apart, but you and Jalen at Oklahoma and high profile, obviously you went in the Heisman and being in the runner-up. Did you get a chance to meet him in that time, or I know you're busy with the Browns at that point?
Yeah, I had my hands full then. No, but just talking to Lincoln was kind of just seeing how they were doing. Always had the relationship with Coach Riley, so just checking in and seeing how they were doing. I mean, he's a tremendous leader. I think you guys have seen his play speaks for itself, but his work ethic is extremely important to him, and that you can see that resonate with the whole team. Every team he's been on, that he's never changed. So that's a special thing about him.
This too is, obviously they're the NFC defending champs with a chance. Is this really a true measuring stick for you?
100%. I think it'll be, big for our offensive line, big for our mindset. They're a great defensive front. I think that's the heart of their defense. As the guys up front, their D-line. There'll be some great matchups. I think we're all looking forward to it, all excited about it. So us being able to go out and handle them, with how good they are is going to be great.
What impresses you when you get there, front seven and the rush you'll be dealing with?
I think just how good individually they are across the board. They want to get guys in one-on-one matchups because they have a lot of faith in themselves. And obviously they should. They're freaking game wreckers. So that's a huge thing. Them. How big they are, how fast they are, how twitchy they are. We're gonna have to be in great position. On our front.
How much have they changed since you guys beat them in the playoffs?
How much have they changed? Oh boy. I think maybe even just got even better up front. As far as I can tell. I guess I can't remember. I didn't finish that game. I got hurt. I don't know. I just know they're great up front, and we're gonna be ready. That's for sure.
Is this really a true measuring stick for you? It'll give you an indication of where you guys are at because it's such a good quality team.
I guess it just depends on what you're asking, right? Obviously, they're a really good team. They had a really good year last year, and they're starting off hot. But it's only a measuring stick if we allow it to be, right? Whatever we do when we go out there, if we allow this one game to define our season, I think we're going to be wrong, whether we win or lose, But I think we got to go out there and just, give it our best, right? Put our best foot forward. I think if we're continuing to improve on our communication, on our execution, I think that we'll like where we're at as we get further into the season.
What's the most challenging thing about facing the Philadelphia secondary?
Man, they got a lot of playmakers, right? They got two really good corners, that have been doing it at a high level for a long time. They got some great safeties back there, some versatile players. Obviously, their defensive line, is what they kind of hang their hat on. But it's going to be a challenge for us. But we're open to it. We're up to accepting the challenge, and they got to deal with us as well. We got great players on the offensive line. We got great skill players. We got a great scheme. I think it's going to be a good matchup.
Baker says everything he hasn't been perfect, obviously, but the timing seems to be really down between you and him.
Two defenses that are stopping the run so far this season. Is this the kind of game that could potentially get wide open, just passes everywhere?
Yeah, I think it could go any number of ways, right? Could be a defensive, a defensive show, but also could be, a shootout. I think that you know, I think both teams are very capable of playing and winning in whatever type of game that it ends up being. But like I said, man, it's tough to kind of predict it because you never really know like how things will go. But I think that if we go out there and we're executing at a high level, you know, I think we're a tough team to beat.
NFC champs, defending NFC champs. Is this really a big gauge for you? It's a test you're excited to see?
Oh yeah, definitely. You always want to play against, you know, the best teams, you know, from the last year, or, you know, the guys who have the big names. So, you know, these are games that matter most, and I can't wait to play a big one.
How do you deal with Jalen Hurts?
You know, he's a dynamic player with the ball in his hand, inside and outside the pocket. You know, we have plans and ways, you know, to try to confuse him and things to do. So it's gonna be a good challenge.
Obviously, they have some receivers that can really hurt a defense. What kind of stands out to you about the trio they have?
Yeah, they're all good players, and they're all good in their own ways. You know, speed, whether it's power. So, you know, we have different techniques and different ways we're going to try to attack those guys and, you know, play our game most importantly, though.
I don't know if you saw much of the game last week between the Vikings, but A.J. Brown kind of got shut down, didn't have a whole lot of action. There was some squabbling on the sidelines with him and Jalen. Is that kind of something, if, you know, maybe you guys can get to them early and quiet them, that they may start squabbling in between themselves? You know,
he's probably, I'm pretty sure he's a passionate player. You know, he wants more production and things like that. But at the end of the day, we're not going to go outside our job to make sure he doesn't get his opportunities. You know, we're going to play our game. You know, if that happens, that happens. But we're going to control what we can control on our side of the ball.
Does it help at all facing a mobile quarterback in Justin last week and now Jalen this week?
Yeah, definitely. You know, you get an idea for what it feels like to either, you know, when you're blitzing, you know, take an extra step if needed, or if you're in coverage, cover your guys just a little bit longer because those guys have the ability to get out the pocket. So definitely a good challenge, and it was a good thing seeing Justin a week ahead.
On the road to victory.